Time to see if Southern Miss and ULM have grown up. It's Locked on Sunbelt.
You are Locked on Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked on Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. All right, first two topics are basically the same thing, but two different schools. See if Southern Miss and ULM can win winnable ball games on the road. And overall, for the Sun Belt, it's a couple of big weeks. 4 games on national TV, JMU twice. All right, so let's start off with Southern Miss. Time to see if they've grown up. They're favored in this ball game against Georgia Southern. What we say it was 3.5. This is a very winnable ball game. All right, we mentioned it yesterday. It's down to 2.5. It may have been 2.5. I forget. We mentioned it yesterday. Georgia Southern's rush defense is non-existent. All right. Now, if you're Georgia Southern, you're going to stuff the box, right? You have to overcompensate. And let's see if Braylon Braxton can pull up. I don't know if that pull a few rabbits out of his hat, but here's the other thing, okay? And he was really successful with the Cajuns, but it did frustrate me because, and Billy had a 3-headed monster. I mean, he had Eli Mitchell, Trey Regis, and Raymond Clay the third. I think it was Raymond Clay the third. So he had a 3-headed monster in the backfield. And yet he would still come out passing the ball because supposedly the other team was loading the box. I'm going with my strength first, all right, and see if we can make the adjustments to them after the fact. Southern Miss should not get away from the run. They're bad at the run. Georgia Southern, all right? They are not nearly on the upswing as they should be in Clay Helton's 4th year, as Southern Miss is in the upswing on Charles Huff's 2nd month coaching games, technically maybe the 3rd month, coaching games for Southern Miss. One team's going in the right direction. One team is going in the wrong direction. And so this is where Southern Miss has to come out victorious. I guess if you lose a close ball game, I guess it depends on how you lose it. And Texas State lost it on a missed extra point. But I want to see, I don't necessarily need to see dominance. Again, I mentioned winning on the road is hard. It is not easy to win on the road in any sport. Right? Professionally, collegiate, high school, winning on the road is impressive. So just go in there and win the ball game. If they want to hand you the ball game, like even throw in 3 interceptions near the goal line, be glad to get it. But this is what I want to see, because Southern Miss has not played well on the road, although I'm not sure they've had a whole lot of opportunities. Let's see. All right. Mississippi State was at home. Jackson State was at home. App State was at home. Louisiana Tech was on the road. They did not play well in that ball game. And Jacksonville State was at home. So they played 4 out of 5 games at home, which does not bode well for the rest of the schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4 games on the road. They got 3 more at home. They got 7 home games this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they got 7 home games this year. It's a nice cushy schedule for Southern Miss and Charles Huff's first season. But you gotta take care of business. All right. We'll worry about the Cajuns next week. Nice rivalry game. All right. We'll worry about that next week. I think that'll probably be a little bit more difficult than Georgia Southern, but we'll have to wait and see. All right. We'll see what happens with the Cajuns and JMU. But this is a ball game that Southern Miss has to win. All right. Let's see if the defense can show up a little bit as well. See what they did. I mean, they obviously dominated Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State put up 14 points. In fact, they put up 22 of their 25 points in the second half. So it was 21-3 to begin the ball game, in the first half. That's pretty good. All right. And so Jacksonville State scored a couple of touchdowns late, but it was all Southern Miss. But that's what it should be against Georgia Southern. All right. Georgia Southern's not good. This would be, when we say 2.5, I think this would be closer to a touchdown. If you want to throw on the extra point, 7 points, if they were at Hattiesburg. So, and then on the other side, if you're Georgia Southern, you would think maybe this is a good opportunity to see if we can beat somebody that maybe we're not supposed to beat. How dare somebody be favored at our place in Statesboro? So maybe you can look at it as a motivating factor that way. But I want to see if Southern Miss has the maturity to go on the road. Again, one game on the road, and La Tech happens to be better than we thought they were going to be, admittedly. But they admittedly, they did not play well. Whether that had to do with La Tech or had to do with Southern Miss, that's a deeper dive. But this should be a ball game that Southern Miss wins. You would say handily, but I'm going to give Georgia Southern the benefit of the doubt, at least a little bit, but they don't really deserve it. They don't deserve it. They lost 42-14 to Fresno State, embarrassed by USC 59-20. They held on to beat Jacksonville State 41-34. In fact, had to come back in that one. They beat Maine 45-10, and then got embarrassed by James Madison when the QB was 11 for 22. All right. So you gotta take advantage, and this is the challenge for Southern Miss, right? I mean, again, they're 1-0, App State, in the Sun Belt West. It's a chance to go 2-0. You beat the Cajuns. Now you're 3-0, and you're looking pretty good in that Sun Belt West. Why not us is going to be the mantra. All right. Why not us is what they're going to do. All right. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to say the same thing for ULM at Coastal Carolina, and actually did a little bit of research on this one, although AI seemed to have two different answers. This one seems a little bit more legitimate. I'll tell you what I'm talking about, because ULM is favored on the road as well. When do you think the last time that was? We'll talk about that when we come back, after I tell you about Supply Side and FanDuel. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead time keeps you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. All right. The part finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. And their Trade Master perks, like priority shipping and dedicated support, makes the whole process smoother. Join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. And FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt. Your teams every day. Started off with time to see if Southern Miss has grown up. Remember, this is the first year of the Charles Huff experiment in Hattiesburg. And this is year number 2 for Bryant Vincent at ULM, as he is also the interim AD. Nonetheless, ULM is favored, according to AI, which would be /Google, for the first time in 8 years on the road. The last time they were favored on the road, according to Google /AI, 2017 at the Cajuns. I don't even remember the football game. I would have been there, but I don't remember the game. They won that ball game 56-52. I got it right. Or not, 56-50 in double overtime. All right. That may have been the nail in the coffin of Mark Hudspeth. All right. They actually went on to win 3 in a row before losing 6 out of 7 in the season, ULM. But that's the last time that they were favored on the road. That Caleb Evans had 343 yards passing, 129 yards rushing, and 5 touchdowns on the ground. The Cajuns defense was non-existent. ULM put up almost 600 yards, 593 yards. Cajuns put up 526. How about this one? You don't see this very often. In a 56-50 ball game, although I guess it kind of makes sense, no turnovers. This thing deserved to be as even as it was. Time of possession, 31:08 for ULM, 28:52 for the Cajuns. About 2 minutes difference. That's pretty good. But that's the last time, like September 2017. So more than 8 years ago was the last time ULM was favored on the road. And in this ball game, they are favored by 3.5. Let me see, by 2.5. Yep, by 2.5. And here's the thing: Coastal Carolina ain't great shakes. They lost to Virginia 48-7. They slipped by FCS Charleston Southern 13-0, and they got embarrassed by East Carolina 38-0. Then they embarrassed South Alabama 38-20, and then Coastal Carolina had fun with the Colton Joseph experience, losing 47-7. They have, obviously you can't take it away, but you take away that South Alabama ball game, they have scored 27 points. In the Alabama ball game, South Alabama ball game, they scored 38. The other 4 games combined, 7 against Virginia, 13 in a win against Charleston Southern, nothing against East Carolina, and 7 against Old Dominion. So they got more than half their points in one ball game. And ULM's defense is pretty good. So you're going on the road. Again, they got a shot at being 5-2 heading into Southern Miss. That's a big ball game in a couple of weeks. We know we got a couple weeks from 2 weeks from Saturday, whereas JMU and ODU are next weekend. But that's a big ball game for the Sun Belt West. If Southern Miss and ULM both win their ball games, Southern Miss got the Cajuns next week. We'll see what that goes. But ULM's got Troy at home. No easy. That's not an easy ball game. But these are winnable ball games for ULM. They're favored on the road. Coastal Carolina isn't very good. Period. End of story. There's nothing to, let's do a deep dive on Coastal Carolina. No, they're not good. They've proven that time and time again. Now, they played well against South Alabama. They pulled off a win against Charleston Southern, but they have not played well. This is not like they're losing a bunch of close ball games. They're getting blown out or sneaking by a team that they should blow out. Now, again, they played well against South Alabama, and South Alabama did not play well against them. Because we've seen South Alabama is not very good for whatever reason. On a side note, is this whole Bill Belichick thing in North Carolina falling apart? And would South Alabama take Gio Lopez back? And here's the other thing. I hope those checks cashed. I hope he's getting his money. Go look what's being reported on Wednesday night. The whole thing is falling apart fast. Whew. Anyway, let's see if ULM can go down, I guess, to Conway and beat up on the Chanticleers. This would be a sign of maturity. These two ball games, Southern Miss and Coastal, aren't taking on JMU. They're not taking on Texas State. They're not taking on ODU. They're taking on two teams that are not very good. They should win these ball games. Let's see if they do. All right. It'll be very impressive if they do. Can win and move on, right? Or we can explain that the other team gave the game away. Doesn't matter. Just, as Al Davis would say, just win, baby. And that's what we're looking for. All right. In addition to 2 big weeks coming up in the Sun Belt, a lot of exposure nationally for the Sun Belt. And so we will see if they can step up when a lot of eyes are on the Sun Belt nationally. Because it's a big opportunity for the Sun Belt to start getting playoff talk. We'll talk about that next, right after I tell you about Mazda and Quo. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but. From smooth handling to intuitive controls, with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. Like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. And Quo. One of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's the same great business phone system you heard me talk about before, just with a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer. So no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That's QUO.com/lockedoncollege. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will import them at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right, as we mentioned, been looking forward to this JMU ODU game forever. All right, since it was clear that they were the cream of the crop in the East, but that's not until next week. We still got this week, and this week starts tonight with Southern Miss against Georgia Southern. And as we've discussed, it's going to be a tale of two teams, right? Georgia Southern has not taken that next step this year, which we thought they were. I did, anyways. And Southern Miss seems to be going this way. Now, do they go dip and then up? Or, and then we got the whole Charles Huff story that is going to be, entertaining for everybody, I guess, except maybe Marshall fans. Winning the championship at Marshall and taking the job at Southern Miss. All right. So that's going to be front and center tonight during this ballgame. All right. They'll also bring up Marshall totally giving the game away against Georgia Southern, including Braylon Braxton with a couple of fumbles last year. And then I think they ran the table from that. And so that'll be up there as well. But it's a chance for Southern Miss to start planting a little flag and say, we're here. All right. It's time for us to contend in the Sun Belt. And they have not done that in a minute. All right. That has been an issue as of late. All right. And then you have James Madison, you have the Cajuns and JMU on national TV. And this is a little appetizer if you're looking at it from the JMU point of view. It's a noon ball game. It's on ESPN2. Both these games, by the way, Georgia Southern and Southern Miss, ESPN2. That's an 8 p.m. Eastern time. Now I'm off on Friday, but I got a lot. The move is actually happening on Friday. So we'll see how much we actually watch some of the game, of course. I don't have to get up early, but the movers are coming mid-morning. But both these games are on ESPN2. And certainly, if you're JMU, you get a little appetizer. You get to show the country what you're all about. Because regardless of how many players the Cajuns have injured, and they do, and they are on their third string quarterback, and they're coming off a victory 2 weeks ago where they stormed back in the second half in overtime, and Lunch Winfield directed, 5 touchdowns? Pretty good, right? That's going to be the frontline story, is that Lunch Winfield is now, plus he's got the great nickname, right? So he's going to be front and center. Also, by the way, Zylan Perry is doubtful. It just got worse for the Cajuns. Their injury report has Zylan Perry doubtful. That's not great, Bob. So that's going to be the storyline heading into it, is JMU's hosting the Cajuns, coming off a bye with a third string quarterback that put up some 50-odd points and a huge 17-point comeback over Marshall. A couple huge passes for touchdowns. All right. And can JMU stop the Cajuns' explosive offense? That's going to be the storyline coming in. All right. Now, I think JMU will stop Cajuns' explosive offense. We'll see how much, and we'll see what the Cajuns' defense can do, because they're not very good either. All right. But we're looking at this mostly from a JMU point of view, that this is their little appetizer. Think if they win this ball game, we'll just say 24-7, and it's all JMU, and we'll even cap it off with the Cajuns with a late fourth quarter score. So it was mostly a shutout, but Cajuns put up 7 points on the board late. You don't think that's going to get some play going into the ODU game? I'm sure is. Because if ODU, for the sake of this conversation, scores a bunch of points at Marshall and they come in hot, it's going to be, can ODU's offense get through JMU's defense, or can JMU's defense stop ODU? All right. Because now this is almost a pregame into the game. All right. Then, in addition to the JMU ODU game next week, you do have Arkansas State at South Alabama. That's not a great ball game, although can Arkansas State turn things around? That's in 2 weeks. That is also on ESPN2. All right. Chance for South Alabama to maybe get up off of the mat. We'll see. But also for Jalen Raynor to maybe straighten some things out. They came up with that big win against Texas State. Let me see if there's, and then you do have the Cajuns are hosting Southern Miss. That's a big ball game. We think Troy against UL Monroe is a big ball game. All right. Texas State heading to Marshall will be a ball game. And then you have Georgia State at Georgia Southern. So this is a really big slate in a couple of weeks. 2 of the games are on national TV. And so it's a chance for the Sun Belt to shine, although, that Arkansas State South Alabama game, that's a tough one. Is that on Thursday? It is on, no, it's on a Tuesday even. Oh, okay. That's on a Tuesday. I don't know what day I have off next week. I'm off Friday. I don't know where I'm off yet. All right. Okay. So this is where it's a couple of big weeks for the Sun Belt. 2 ball games on national TV this week, 2 next week. JMU is in 2 out of the 4. And it's just a chance for the Sun Belt to shine. Let's see if that happens. And then you do have, again, Southern Miss is at Georgia Southern. Marshall hosting ODU this week. All right. You got Troy and Texas State, and you got some good ball games next week as well. So if the Sun Belt is going to get any play for the playoff, it's going to be over the next 2 weeks. It really is. All right. And we'll see if ODU is for real. We kind of, again, joked with Colton Joseph that the Vatech game, or not the Vatech game, the Coastal game was a little bit of a trap game, but this is the classic trap game. Don't make any mistake about that. This is as classic trap game as you can get. We'll see if they can avoid that and get the showdown we're all looking for. And I'm telling you right now, we are going to break that game down each and every day. That is going to be a huge ball game for the Sun Belt. All right. That is going to be the focus of the podcast next week because it deserves to be. All right. I don't know. See what days I have off. See if we can get some coaches on. I don't know. We've had Bob Chesney on. And we've had Ricky Ronnie on. Ricky likes coming on. So we'll see. All right. We haven't had Bob on since he got the job, other than Sunbelt Media Days. So we'll see. I'm not sure if he appreciated seeing my face during the, I mean, they lost to Louisville, and he was upset that they could have won that football game, if not should have won that football game. Right. That's what he was upset about. As any coach would be. All right. We are hoping, well, we should have an episode on Friday. We'll see if we have an episode on Monday. All right. The internet is supposed to be up on, I don't know when it's getting turned off here. Meanwhile, getting turned on somewhere else. So we'll see when that happens. All right. I have something that I need the internet for on Friday. Hopefully it's not turned off too early. We'll see if that's the case. But otherwise, we should be all set by Monday. We missed one episode. It'll be up on Tuesday. And I will let everybody know if there's an issue with lack of Wi-Fi. All right. Well, I'll put it short up. You don't need it for that much. I have an odd deal. I mean, I have good internet. I have fiber here. And so when 800 or 1 gigabyte video uploads, it takes 30 seconds or so. I don't know, a minute maybe. And yet these shorts that are like 45 seconds are better off when they don't use the internet. If someone has a suggestion on that, it's like, it takes 4 hours. Well, what are we doing? Upload it. It's 30 seconds. I don't know what the big deal is. Who knows? But again, thanks so much. We are closing in on 2,600 subscribers. That's very cool. And we see more and more new comments every single time. I think I got to all the comments over the last couple of days, but please leave your comments. Don't forget Apple and Spotify. It's a big help. Really do appreciate it. We'll go over more of this week's action coming up on Friday. All right. Until then, enjoy your Thursday, and we'll talk to you again on Friday. Once again, you've been listening and watching Locked on Sunbelt, your teams every day.